Welcome, everybody. We're talking tonight with Brock Wingo. And this is normally a deer talk, but we're going to talk some turkey hunting tactics, stories, techniques, and just equipment that people are using. Brock has some good experience turkey hunting over the years, and I thought we'd get some knowledge from his times in the woods come spring. And Brock, I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself.
So, like you said, my name's Brock. Were, I guess I would call you my great uncle. It'd be because you're cousins with my grandpa.
Yeah.
But we're family, and I have been hunting ever since I can remember with my grandpa and my uncle
Yeah.
and my mom. And some of my earliest turkey hunting memories are riding around with my mom and my uncle Pat and my uncle Kyle and
Hmm.
them sticking their heads out the windows and calling for turkeys and stuff. So it's been one of my favorite things to do ever since I can remember. I mean, I saw my first wild bear with them out turkey hunting. So lots of cool memories for my whole life, all the way leading up to now I'm guiding. So
Yeah, so that's one thing. I mean, if you were to know either my family or Brock's family, definitely have hunting in our blood. This
yeah.
goes all the way back to my dad, your grandpa, just a long history of hunting. And our family hasn't got as much into trapping. I think you and your cousin, or you guys trap quite a bit, correct?
Yep. We trapped beavers this spring too. Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys are up in well, I know family's up in Gaylord area. You're living kind of mid-state or something right now, aren't you?
Yeah, I live in Clio now, so
Okay. Now,
just a little ways north of Flint.
where are you getting some access? Where's your plans this spring for turkey hunting?
So my turkey spots for this spring range from uh all the way from Montrose to Lapeer. So I'm
Okay.
covering quite a decent size area.
Yeah, that's the good thing with the southern part of Michigan, especially. I mean, there's a lot of, or well, actually, the northern lower, there's a lot of opportunities for turkeys. Pretty much. I know I live in the city, Sterling Heights area, and I know I've had turkeys in my backyard, and they're common throughout the whole state. And how have been like your sightings so far this year, up till right now? Are you seeing normally what you see, or bird numbers you seem high or low?
Um I wouldn't say the numbers are very much different this year, but the sightings so far have been
Hmm.
way more frequent. They're a little bit ahead this year than they usually are with their whole process. Like
Right.
I'm already seeing, I saw it 3 times today, lone hens that are hanging out on their own near nesting areas. So
Hmm.
they're pretty far ahead with their process, but that's not going to matter much.
Yeah. So let's start out hypothetically. Somebody really wants to get into this is going to be their first year hunting. Where does somebody start as far as first of all equipment? What would you say is like the basic? I mean, we're always trying. I'm trying to save money, and I know everybody. You don't have to spend a lot of money. What would you say are like the basic equipment that you would really somebody who's just starting out would really have to should pick up?
Um, if I were to start fresh with as low a budget as I could, I would start basically the way I did start and just foam decoys and like a box call
Hmm.
just to start out. And obviously camo, but if
Yeah.
you're turkey hunting, you're probably already hunting other things, so you might
I
have
look
that.
back to myself. I mean, I started in the mid 80s and like when we started hunting, kind of a quick story, we this was back there really wasn't any online presence. I mean, I don't even think it was really much in any homes yet. Just kind of starting to take off. So we really learned this went back to my dad, his hunting camp, and we had probably 5, 6 guys, and we would always get together with our deer camp right before season, talk about deer hunting. And one year we just kind of all said, hey, let's try turkey hunting once. And none of us knew anything about it. We just started
Yeah.
picking up some VHS tapes and watching those, picking up some magazines, and really just learned as we went. And like you said, I mean, we didn't have any fancy equipment. I think we were the same thing, just a couple box calls, a couple. couple guys tried some of the mouth calls and stuff, but really we were just went very basic. We had some of the
Yeah.
foam, what was that, the feather flex, some of the
Mhm.
decoys like that, and we had some success. And I know, quick story as far as that goes. I mean, the very first year we went, none of us really knew anything what we were doing. We're going out, we're like, we're gonna have a good time, see what we find, and we were gonna hunt up in the Oscoda area. And I was with my dad's friend, and he kind of took me under his wing, and we went out hunting that morning. And my dad and my brother Tom, they weren't able to get up till a little bit later, so I think they arrived and they went hunting. Like, it was getting kind of late in the morning, and I think it was almost they didn't get there almost till like 10 o'clock. And they, like anything, we didn't know what we were doing. They just went out, sat down against a tree, and they had some success that first within the first 20 minutes they were there. So the funny story
Wow.
was is that when we came back to pick them up, I still remember my dad had this grin on his face. He hid his turkey like in the ditch. So when we pulled up, I know my dad's buddy said, he goes, something's up with your dad. He goes, he's got this grin in his face. And we're like, did you guys get anything? Nah, we didn't see anything. And then my dad's like, oh, hold on, I forgot something. And then comes out, he's got this big gobbler, and I don't know how big the beard was, but very nice bird. And just like you said, you can be very successful, and you don't have to. I mean, this was just a later morning hunt even, and they had success. So it's really, a lot of it is, sometimes there's some luck involved too.
Yeah.
And that was kind of how we started out turkey hunting. And this kind of learned as you go. And that's, I think, really what I tell a lot of people, just gain knowledge. I mean, and like I said, start out on the cheaper end and kind of, first of all, see if you like it. And most people are gonna, in my mind, I think you're gonna like it. It's a fun time year to be out in the woods. Weather's
Yeah.
normally pretty good. We have Michigan. We have it a couple years because some snow, but yeah, overall it's usually a good year or a good time of year. And you can get out, and it's a good time while you're out there. You can do some deer scouting and just enjoy the time really out there. So,
Mhm.
so like you, I mean, look, when you probably went with Kyle, correct? Or is that who kind of took you out, or was it your mom the first time?
Uh, yeah. Most of my early times, like before I could buy a tag, were with all of them. But the
Hmm.
first couple years that I bought a tag, I would only go out a handful of times, maybe like 2 or 3 times a year. I would go out with my uncle, and it wasn't anything like I do now. It wasn't like a bunch of spots and you're bouncing around trying to find where turkeys are. It's just like, oh, so and so said they saw turkeys, so we're gonna go hang out there for a few hours. So it was mostly a lot of that, and just I think I would call it, I got brought into it almost the right way of, it was always a struggle at first, and I think that's what kept me hooked in the long run was, not having easy success right away, but
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, I
but
mean, exactly. I mean, you have to figure the first time you're heading out is really just a lot of it is a learning experience, and you're
mhm,
probably going to make some mistakes, and that's a part of learning, is knowing things you've done right and realizing what you've done right or done wrong. And like you said, as you continually hunt, I think there's always a good opportunity then to expand in some different types of calls. Now, have you had better successful one type of call or the other, or would you prefer a multiple amount of or multiple calls that you bring along with you?
I, uh, I always have a mouth call, hot style call, like a slate or a crystal, and a box call on me at all
Yeah.
times because I've had, when I started out with I went to a garage sale that our family was having and got an old HS Strut box call. It was like from the 80s or something. And
Hmm.
that first year that I started really getting into it, I think I called in 6 toms that year with that, just a box call that year.
Hmm.
And then I got into diaphragm calls and called in 1 that year. And then I've had instances like that where I'm running only a box call and I'm calling them in, and I've had
Yeah.
instances where I'm calling it turkeys all morning long with a mouth call, and then I switched over to a glass call and did
Hmm.
one series of yelps on it, and he came all the way from 200, 300 yards all the way up to almost in shotgun range. So
Hmm.
I like to keep all three on me because sometimes they just are feeling a different sound.
Yeah. Now, are you usually see like a lot of people? I mean, they maybe they're kind of short on time now. Are you normally heading out before doing some calls in the evening to kind of locate where the birds are, or have you just kind of what would you suggest for some people like that? I mean, because I know sometimes time's an issue too. I know a lot of people sometimes might not get an opportunity to get out ahead of time. What are you? I guess what are you looking for in like I guess like habitat or like prime turkey
Yeah.
area? What are you looking for?
So one thing that always catches my eye is if I'm driving and I see a big field, usually if I see very, very old, um, just very old hardwoods with really mature trees that have a lot of big branches
Right, where
going
they can
off.
roost up. Right.
Yeah, or like big red and white pines. That is usually just spots that like trigger in my head. I'm like, oh, that might be good for turkeys. I'll have to swing back
Right.
by there and look this spring.
Yeah.
But like you said, a lot of people have limited time. Once turkey season rolls around, I'm starting to work very
Right.
long hours. So I if I have the time, I like to make sure that I roost turkeys before I hunt. You don't need to,
Right.
but it does really help because then you get to think about it all night. You're like, okay, I know there's this group and this group roosted near this property.
Right.
So if this doesn't work out, that might. And it's definitely best to try to make the time to roost turkeys before you hunt.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I'll like last year I didn't get the opportunity. I made the mistake. Like I said, I went out and I busted some off the roost there and
Yeah.
definitely messed up my morning. But hey, I mean it was a learning experience for me. And
Yep.
like I said, it doesn't matter how many years you've been deer or turkey hunting. I mean, you're still every year you're learning
Mm-hmm.
something new.
Oh yeah.
We never get to be an expert in this field and that's what makes it a lot of fun. I mean, you're always learning, you're always trying some different tactics, maybe some different equipment or whatever. Um, Now, what have you had more success from? Sitting just against a tree? Do you guys, or do you have a lot of uses using pop-up blinds or anything? I know those are becoming very popular now.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I I have not turkey hunted out of a blind yet. I have used they make little pop-up blinds that set up like
I've
about
seen them,
like
yeah.
a foot to 2.5 foot tall. I
Hmm.
have sat behind those, but never had success using those. I'd say 95% of what I do is just finding a really good hide, say a really big tree
Yeah,
that can hide me and two other people if it has to, or a really brushy spot where I can stack some stuff up to hide.
right. Yeah, so I mean that's I know a lot of people I think though they are utilizing some of the pop-up blinds, especially I think some people have some of these smaller parcels that they're hunting. And I know, I mean, if you're hunting North Country, you have a lot of hundreds and thousands of acres. You can kind of roam around. You
Mhm.
can do some more mobility. But I know if you have a parcel of land, maybe 10, 20 acres, I mean, where I think you're going to be pretty much a situation. I think it might be beneficial to sit in a blind, something like that, where you're
Yeah.
going to be, because I mean, you're not going to, if you have any birds in the area, you're pretty much going to hear them across anyways at that point.
Mhm.
So I think that might be kind of beneficial with some of those. And like I said, I mean, it does. I'm definitely not against pop-up blinds. I mean, I think it's something, especially in inclement weather, gets you a chance to
Yes.
get out there and get you away. I know, um, especially like myself, when you get older, I mean, comfort comes into a deal
Yeah.
too. But yeah, I was talking recently to Tom Nelson, host of American Archer, and I know he's a proponent, like I said, sitting all day, and like I said, don't giving up on a spot too quickly. I think that is a problem, though. I see that where somebody will sit for 5, 10 minutes, I don't hear nothing, let's get going right away.
That's the
And
biggest thing I struggle with.
yeah, and I mean, I think we're all tempted with that, or you just get that opening morning excitement, and you
Mhm.
don't hear something. It's like, oh, geez, I gotta get moving right away. And sometimes, especially, and I do agree with him. Like my first bird I ever got years ago was, I think it was right around 3, 4 in the afternoon, and Didn't have a lot of response to the calls, but ended up coming in and got a good shot at them. And that was a cool experience for me. My dad was sitting with me in the blind, so good remembrance of my first bird. But yeah, that so I mean it proves that I know a lot of people push all the time. You have to be out there mornings only, morning
Yeah.
only. And but no, I mean birds, I mean they're gonna be moving all day long and just depending on your weather and what's hens and stuff are in your area. But I think it is beneficial and it is good, like I said, if you do have some options for land to hunt.
Yeah.
But I know that's sometimes not an option. So sometimes if you don't have an options to get around, you probably are
Yeah.
beneficial. At least put your time in the woods because you don't know what's going to come through there. So yeah, so I
Yeah.
think it's really beneficial to do that. Um, what would
I
you? Yeah, go ahead.
I I was gonna say, I do have a pop up that I'm gonna be putting up at one of my permission properties I plan on guiding at. I'm
Mhm.
gonna put that up just to leave it out. There's one place that I turkey hunt it's kind of short on good trees to sit by, so I'm gonna put it out
Yeah.
there so that I have just something that's better to sit with, and I'm gonna try that out and see if I notice much of a difference. If they don't like the blind, or if they really don't care about it, like some people say, I am very curious to see how that goes this year.
What have you normally been using? Archery or gun normally for turkey?
I've only shotgun hunted them.
Okay,
I
that's how
really
that's how
want,
myself too. Yeah.
yeah, I really want to try bow hunting them, but I just this year I don't even know if I'm gonna shoot one because I'm pretty much only taking people this year. If I
Yeah.
take a buddy and we double up, that'll be cool. But this year I don't
Yeah.
even know if I'll
Every
be
time I
shooting
see
one.
somebody that gets one with archery equipment, I mean, I in awe. I mean, that's a
Mhm.
definite accomplishment right there. And because that's just, I would love to do that, but so far hasn't been in
Yeah.
my agenda yet. Maybe some year, but right
Yeah.
now we're sticking with the shotgun and going from there. Um, what would you recommend? 12 gauge shotgun. What's your maximum range you're looking at normally?
Um, for someone who's beginning, I would not shoot over, depending on your setup, your gun setup, I would not shoot over 40
Mm,
yards for someone new because with turkeys, especially in the area where I'm usually hunting, where it's farm fields, it's really tough to estimate range. So, and my thing is the closer the better, always. It's more
right.
fun when they're close and it's more ethical to shoot them when they're closer. But
Yeah.
if I were to take someone who's brand new, I usually tell them don't don't shoot unless they're within
Mm.
a certain range. Now,
Yeah,
some
and I
people,
yeah, and I think that
some
comes in too. I mean, make sure if you are going to extend your range a little bit, get some do some sighting in with your shotgun, see what your
yeah.
effective range is really, because every gun's going to be a little bit different. Maybe
Mhm.
whatever ammo you're using. So it is pretty critical to get out and do some paper target shooting and see what your
Yeah.
gun range effectiveness is.
Yeah. Because like you said, some people are trying to get into it. They don't want to spend a lot of money. They
Yeah.
might not want to buy a special turkey choke for their gun. So if you only have a full choke, your effective distance is only about 30 or 35 yards anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, and I always felt too when it comes I mean, especially somebody getting into hunting in general, I think turkey hunting is very good for somebody to start out with. A lot of the same skills that you're using are applied to deer hunting and any other types of hunting. As far as just being quiet, stealth, I'm using camo
Mhm.
and things like that. So it's and yet weather sometimes a little bit nicer and just you can kind of move
Yeah.
around little bit if you got a pop up or something. So it's
Mhm.
good, I think, to good chance opportunity to get your kids out, and that usually will lead into if you like that, you're probably going to be, hey, let's try deer hunting out next. So I think
Mhm.
it is real beneficial. I mean, and for me also, this is that time of year where you're kind of getting the deer hunting itch. You're gotten through the winter and starting to see the pretty soon the fawns will be dropping and the antlers
Mhm.
will be popping through. So you get that
Yeah.
gets you out in that woods and it gets you an opportunity to not only while you're turkey hunting, doing some scouting for deer, looking for some runways, and just because a lot of the wood still somewhat looks like what it did in the fall yet. So it's
Hmm.
just a really good opportunity to pay attention while you're out there, learn some knowledge through that too.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's one thing I love about it is every time, almost every time I'm in the woods when I'm turkey hunting, I'm taking notes or making onyx pins of like, oh, there's
right,
a scrape right here I never noticed and stuff like that.
right.
And it's always cool to when you're out scouting for turkeys and you see that first spotted fawn of the year and you're like, oh wow, it's like springtime, springtime. There's fawns dropping, and
Yeah.
sometimes you see a couple bucks that are ahead of the game growing, and they have brow tines and G2s and everything. And it's like, man, deer
Mhm.
hunting's only a few months away.
Yeah, and to me, it's like it's a little more I shouldn't say relaxing, but um, I just remember a story from like my dad years ago when he was sitting out up against a tree. This was up in Lewiston area,
Yeah.
and to this day, I still have his gun that with this mark in there. But he came back and he's like, "Yeah," he goes, "I was sitting there and doe came by and bumped the gun or basically jumped and bumped the gun off my lap." And I'm like, "Ah, no, that didn't happen." And pulls his gun out and he's got two marks straight down his stock where the deer actually scraped its hoofs right on the guns. I mean, it's
Wow.
but so there's just a lot of cool experiences this time of year. Everything's starting to green out and animals are getting enjoying the nice weather, feeding and stuff. So it's just to
Hmm.
me, it's just a really fun time of year to be out in the woods.
Yeah.
And like I said, if you can come home with a nice gobbler, added bonus, but there's just a lot of what I call it's a fun time of year.
Hmm.
So if you had to say what would have been your most memorable turkey hunt?
Um, I think that's without a doubt. There's two that come to mind, but if I had to pick one, it's without a doubt putting my little brother on his first turkey is
Hmm.
probably my favorite one because we had me and my uncle Kyle had roosted a pair of turkeys the night before. So
Hmm.
we were planning on my uncle and his wife are going to split up and uh me, Will and my fiance came up to hunt with us. Then she was still just early in being my girlfriend, but so we were going to split up into two groups and we were both going to hunt these turkeys and if they went one way, one of us would be able to get them. If they went the other way, the others would. And those ones, it's a long story, but long story short, I was able to call the toms off their hens, and then while the toms were leaving their hens got really desperate and started really talking. So then I was able to call the hens, and they came all the way into the decoys, but the toms hung back at like it's probably 40 or 50 yards, but this was before I had a turkey choke. So now I could have shot them, but then I
Yeah.
was still new and I just couldn't get them. So then we moved. Then my mom had woke up late that morning and she found Tom with some hens, and we were like, well, this didn't pan out. Let's go set up over there. So we my grandpa joined us, and it was my brother, my fiance, my grandpa, and I. And we went and set up on this Tom, and I called him off his hens, and we were right on the line of public and private, and it was us, and then the private was in front of us, and so he was on the public when we saw him, but then he crossed and was strutting and gobbling all the way from I think I called him from about 150, 175 yards. He looped through the private, gobbling and strutting the entire way. And I'll never forget there was a low spot he had gone in, and I didn't know it was there. He went in a it was probably a 10-foot drop in elevation, but when he was in there, the lower he got, his sound was bouncing off of it and going the other way. So it sounded like he was getting farther and farther every gobble he was making. And then I remember the feeling when he crested the edge and got out of that low spot. And it's when he got out of it, he was only about 60 yards, and that's when you can like feel their gobble
Right.
deep in you. And I was like, "Oh boy, Willie, you better be ready." And so now I see him, And for a little backstory, the year before I called in, like I told you with the box call, I called in 6 turkeys for my brother, and he um didn't shoot, and missed the very last one. So this year I learned my lesson, and I had my gun on this Tom the entire time because I wasn't letting him get away. But I was telling him,
Yeah.
be ready, Willie, because he's committed now. And he came in and was standing at about 20, 25 yards, and I could have shot him the whole time. But he was strutting and he hung up right there. And I was like, man, he's going to leave, isn't he? And so I had my finger on the trigger and I was waiting. And if he acted funny and was going to leave, I was going to shoot him. But then he broke strut and popped his head up. And I was like, oh, don't you leave. And I was about ready to. And then
Yeah.
he broke and he just came sprinting right into the decoys. And I told my brother, I was like, get on him, get on him. And he
Yeah.
gets into the decoys and he shoots and he just dropped.
Yeah, it's a
And
pretty, I mean, like someone that's never been turkey hunting before, when you get a turkey that comes in close like that and it's gobbling, I mean, it's a pretty, like you said, it's a pretty powerful moment that
mm-hmm,
maybe wouldn't think that it's going to be that exciting, but it's like, man, it really is, and that's why it gets so addicting,
mm-hmm,
and why people just really enjoy this time of year. Now,
yeah.
getting back to, I guess, you were kind of talking a couple minutes ago. Now, what would you suggest to somebody that getting some response, but this turkey's just hung up? What do you suggest on a hung up turkey? It just
Um,
calling back with you, but just never coming in.
so this is a lesson I was going to touch on for this hunt. So our first hunt that morning, with I set up on a 2 track, and we set up, if this is the 2 track, this is where the turkeys were, and this is where we were up with the decoys in between us. So the toms hung up about 30 or 40 yards away from the decoys, and we were about 50 yards away from the toms. So for the next setup, we were on a 2 track again, and I made sure to put the decoys past us from where the turkey is so that we can still shoot to the decoys, but he has to come past us. So if he hangs up, he'll still be in range.
Mhm.
That's the biggest thing that I see a lot of new hunters, including myself, start out doing, is
Yeah.
putting the decoys in between them. But I think it's better if you're going to hunt with decoys to put them behind you. But as far as sounds to make a hung up tom commit, I've learned that if you got leaves by you, scratching on the ground is about the best thing you can do.
What are you using? One or two decoys, or what's your decoy setup? Are you just using a hen? Or
Um,
are you using some jakes, or what's? Is there a certain time of year that's one's better than the other?
um, what I have currently is I have a feeder hen and an upright hen, and then I have a Jake decoy and a strutter decoy. I the entire season now I run a strutter decoy, but
Mhm.
there will be select properties where I know the Jakes outnumber the Toms, or there's an area where Toms get pressured really heavy, so a strutter decoy is not what you want because they just they don't want to fight if they don't have to and stuff like that. But I almost always run 2 hens and a male turkey.
Okay.
And I like the feeder and upright hen combination because I feel like, and this is all just speculation. I feel like turkeys, because they have a pea brain and they forget things so easily, that when they're coming in and they're changing sides and directions and stuff, snaking their way in, I feel like having the hens in 2 different positions makes them feel like the hens are moving because they just forget that that's not holding still because they're both in 2 different positions, and it looks more realistic than if you have 2 upright hens. Just in my personal preference.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like I said, it's some good information, and like I said, once again, you're always kind of learning as you go. Um,
Yes.
so what do you have coming up, like with word? Like, tell me about what you're doing on social media right now.
So on social media right now, I've been posting a lot of turkey content that is just random clips that I've filmed of turkeys.
Hmm.
and the years that I've been turkey hunting very consistently and very hardcore. And so I've just been posting a lot of that type of stuff to kind of get viewers amped up for what I have
Yeah.
coming. And next weekend, I will be, next weekend is our opener for anyone listening
Right.
that doesn't know. Um, I'll be helping my buddy Hunter Lawson with Strut Seekers Outdoors. We're going to be helping some guys from Mississippi get their turkeys next weekend.
Cool. Very cool.
And so then after that, I have my friend who's a retired Army vet. I'll be taking him to try to get him a turkey. And I don't know if you know another family member of ours, Stephen Fowler. He's Steve
Mhm.
Fowler's son.
Yep, I know him.
Um, I'll be taking him this year too, and I'll be guiding a group for my buddy Hunter, and I'll be guiding another guy for my buddy Hunter. So that'll be three people total that I'll be guiding and getting paid for this year, and more buddy hunts the weekends that I'm free. So that's why I'm trying to get people excited for I'm
Yeah.
going to be only filming this year and trying to put together some really cool stuff.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds like you got a pretty busy spring set up for yourself
Yeah.
already. And
I do have
um
I don't know if I texted you. I might have. If not, I'll tell you off air, but I have a really like high profile even for non-hunters type of person that I'll be assisting in getting a turkey this year with my buddy Hunter. But
okay.
that's going to be really, really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds that way. Um yeah, so I don't know, it's like one of these things where I think it just takes somebody maybe to just bring up the topic and like somebody
Hmm.
that's never turkey hunted before. I think it just get them out there. I think they're gonna really enjoy it. And
Yeah.
um, like I said, tell me something else about like, is there something? I think what I'm trying to ask. So you do a lot of northern peninsula, do some southern Michigan turkey hunting. Is there a big difference between the big woods type turkey hunting to some of the farm country that's more southern? Have you noticed any like differences between like either tactics or just behavioral as far as the turkeys, how they
Yes. So I've noticed the big woods turkeys seem to be a lot more nomadic because they have a lot more areas where they can roost and stuff.
Mhm.
Um like and the biggest advantage of hunting up there is you get to hunt public and private. Down here you
Right.
can only hunt private or only public. So that's the biggest advantage up there, but um the big woods turkey hunting seems like they move around a lot more. And if you overhunt and you can down here it seems like you can get away with hunting certain flocks a lot because they don't really have anywhere else to go because
Right.
if they go too far another flock's already inhabiting that area so there's no room for them. But up there it seems like there's a lot less numbers so they have a lot more room to roam, and
Mhm.
if you are putting too much pressure on them, they'll definitely clear out of an area and then it gets tough. But tactics wise, down here, it's a little bit easier because there's more and
Mhm.
there's more visibility. Down here, it's a lot of driving around and seeing them and then planning your attack. Up there, it seems like it's more setups or walking around and blind calling, looking to strike one up. And
Hey,
personally, I'd prefer that way. It's more fun, but
mhm. Yeah, I know when I really started out turkey, and that's kind of what we did. We hunted a lot of like the Mayo area, that part
mhm,
of the state, and just a lot of trails where we do a lot of walking, doing some
yeah,
calling, sitting for a little while. And like I said, it was a big benefit to it. There was a lot of area that you could hunt.
mhm,
And that's kind of like how we started the video out. It's kind of like when you're down here, you're hopefully you can get some access to some properties to hunt.
yeah,
Otherwise, like I said, sometimes you're limited on some of these smaller parcels. But once again, I mean, don't not turkey hunt because oh, I only have 10 acres.
Yeah.
I mean, get out there. I mean, you're still able to call some birds in and
Mhm.
can still have success, but it's just a different, like a different type of hunting. Um, so yeah, so I mean, like for us, we're hunting in Lapeer County right now. Our property has a creek that runs through it, got part of the Flint River that cuts through it. And I know, like when I started out years ago, people were saying, "Oh, birds don't like the cross the rivers or anything," and I haven't seen any issues with that at ours. I mean, they freely fly back and forth over top those things. Doesn't bother them
Hmm.
whatsoever. Um, so I mean, a lot of times what
Yeah.
we'll do is, I mean, and that was something where I know years ago we were always, oh, they wasn't a lot of information when we would always be like, oh, they're just hung up at a river or something, and but
Yeah.
yeah, we haven't had any issues with that. So a lot of our tactic is our birds will sit towards the back of our property. So, and like I said, I made the mistake trying to get too close last year. So we're a lot of times we don't even need to get out there right at daybreak, knowing that the back behind us there's a big field behind us, and they're out there in the mornings, and they'll just shuffle back through towards it, head north in the morning. So you can
Yeah.
kind of just sit by that river and you have some pretty good areas once you hunt that area long enough. You kind of know
Yeah.
where their crossing areas are. And but yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, so don't feel that there's all the water is going to restrict their behavior or movements. I know
Mhm.
at least where we're at, it does hasn't affected us whatsoever. Maybe there's other
Mhm.
parts that maybe it will. I don't know, but we haven't had any issues, and we're hunting some pretty wet, swampish areas, and
Yeah.
some years we haven't got out even just because the thing floods out so bad in the spring. But this year, I'm hoping stuff should be pretty good. We had a little rain recently, but I'm gonna head up tomorrow, do some a little bit of scouting for the opener next
Nice.
weekend, and kind of just see what the weather is going to be, and
Nice.
just hopefully things look pretty good up there. Um, I,
The
this year is going to change a little bit for us too. Last year along the river, they did some maintenance to the state, and they had taken a dozer and pretty much cleared out the edge of the river. And I think that's going to really benefit us this year. I think a lot of turkeys are going to come through there, and um, before they would kind of come through the woods, hit the river, and then fly across. Where I think they're going to hang out a little bit more on this open area before flying over.
Oh,
So I
okay.
think we were,
So so did they like clear all the brush on the edge is what you're saying?
yeah, they took an excavator through, and kind of was bad for us. I mean, they came through. It was like I had like 7 days off of work, and it came through. It was like the November 3rd. It was kind of the rut was just kind of getting
Oh.
into, and it's like, oh man, this really messed us up. But honestly, it didn't affect the deer movements and was very beneficial for us. I mean, we had this nice cleared out area
Mhm.
all the way across our property. Well, actually, across all our property owners. So I was out a few weeks ago. I did some frost seeding for that, so I'm kind of anxious to get up there too. Now that the weather's getting kind of seeing what's going to be popping up here, but I think that's going to be beneficial for us, not only for deer, but I think it is going to benefit our turkeys because sometimes
Mhm.
you would kind of sit near there and you would have some birds come in you really couldn't see, and next thing you know they're flying across and they hit the other
Mm.
side of the river. So I think they are going to do a little more hanging around that area where we can do some setups along that river and put some decoys out there, which I think
Yeah.
that's going to be one of our tactics. Because and that's where, like I said, you really should do some scouting because every area is different. And
Mhm.
I have some access south of us about 10 miles, and even though it's similar to what our property is, it's a little bit different. A little different types of wetland. He has some open areas with some food plots. So I think that should be a pretty good area too. And so I'm gonna tomorrow I'll get a chance to get up and do some walking in
Nice.
the woods. And I know I've been so busy the last few weeks. I'm behind on what I need to be doing in the woods, but life gets busy and you have to do some
Yeah.
priorities. And
Yep.
next thing you know, I mean, but that happens every spring. Um,
Yeah.
but that's what's fun about spring. There's everything happens all at once. I mean, people are
Mhm.
out morel hunting, they're out um, getting ready for deer season already and are getting food plots ready and doing
Yep.
habitat improvements. But so that's like you said. So turkey hunting allows you to pick up your gun, pick up your bow, get out, do some hunting.
Mhm.
And yet at the same time, there's other things you could be doing while you're out there. And I call it a little bit more casual than deer hunting. I mean, you can set
Yeah.
up for a while if you want to take a little break and do a little walking around. I mean, hey, go for it because there's always something to find out in the woods.
Hmm.
Um, so I think we were going to touch one basis, one topic real quick as far as what do you see as far as I know you're younger. I mean, you got started. What age did you really? What year did you first kind of get out hunting?
Um, Shoot, I don't even know. Like some of my earliest memories are hunting. So, and there's even pictures of me with my uncle or with my
Yeah.
great grandpa with coyotes and traps or dead deer they shot that I don't even
Yeah.
remember because it was
Yeah.
so
See,
early.
so the difference is, like I said, like when I started, I mean, we had to be 12, or 14, as far as bow and stuff, but many decades ago. But see, you were surrounded in your family, as was I, with a hunting family. I mean, as
Hmm.
even as a young kid, you were used to mom or dad, brother, somebody coming home with a deer strapped on the top of the roof,
Yeah.
or um, same thing with me. I mean, you just grew up in that. Not saying but your odds of becoming a hunter are greatly increased when you're around people that
Hmm.
deer hunt. So, what would you say is the biggest challenge though for somebody that you're working with somebody at your job? Their family doesn't hunt. What would it take for that person to get involved with hunting? I mean, this is really any type of hunting, whether it's turkey, whether it's deer, and somebody a little bit younger where I know in today's world things are just a little bit different, but what would you really suggest to entice somebody to get out?
Um, to entice someone to just start getting into hunting, um, I feel like if I feel like
I
fishing is a good way to get into the world of hunting because fish are a little bit easier to kill and eat because there's
Mhm.
a lot less cute and cuddly to them.
Yeah,
And then from that step into, like you said, turkey hunting is, in my opinion, one of the better things to get somebody to kill first because to most people it's just a ugly head with the skin and
right. Mhm.
stuff, and until you get experience in turkey hunting, you don't appreciate how beautiful they actually are.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Mm.
for new hunters, it's like, oh, it's just a big ugly bird. It's not going to make them cry if they kill it. They're not really going to feel bad. So that's why I think turkey hunting is definitely the best thing to get someone's foot into the door of
Yeah.
hunting.
Yeah, I think for me it really boils down to asking somebody. I mean, you have to get somebody either out on the lake or you have to get somebody out in the
Mhm.
woods. I mean, it's sadly it's just you don't have as many what I call hunting families as it used to be. And even those, some
Mhm.
of the people are not even getting into hunting. I know some of my friends, I know they're big deer hunters, big outdoorsmen, men and women, and the kids just really aren't really interested
Yeah.
per se. And there's a lot of other what I call like distractions in today's world.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, it's something really. I feel if there's an opportunity to get somebody, even if it's not even hunting, just hey, I'm gonna go work on my food plot or going to go take the
Mhm.
chainsaw and get them out in the woods. I think most people once they step out of the city, once they step out of the comfort of their home, I think once they just get into the woods,
Yeah.
there's that feeling that comes over you. That's like if you've never really experienced away from the
Yeah.
city, away from the lights, it's just a kind of a surreal moment, really, where once you do it, you don't really sometimes even pay attention to it. But if your whole lifestyle it just evolves around working in your own yard and live in the city, you go to the
Yeah.
grocery store. Um, you don't really get a chance to experience that. And even a lot of kids don't. So I think it's really just something you have to, if you know somebody at work or whatever, hey, invite them out to do something. And like I said, it doesn't
Mhm.
even have to be hunting the first time. Let that person really pick up. It doesn't even have to be a kid either. I mean, we're talking any age.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I think a lot of people really they're curious about it, but I think it's something where access is the biggest thing too. I know you were
Mhm.
talking about some places. Have you gotten to the point where you've knocked on doors and stuff? Have you? been doing that, or have you done that
Yes.
before? What has been your success with that? What has been your
Um,
technique, I guess? Because I've heard a lot of stories where you get a lot of no's, and
I
what?
get
Yeah,
way more. I've noticed this year's been a little bit different. I've gotten a lot more people not being home than I usually do. I don't know if people are working more or if they're just
yeah,
busy or something, but or if it's just because I only have time to knock on weekends. On a Saturday in the middle of the day, everybody's doing what I'm doing and they're not at their house. So,
right.
but yeah, I have I can't say that I haven't gotten a lot of yeses because I have a ton of access now, way
Yeah,
more than I've ever had, but it's hard work. It comes with a lot of no's and more fun conversations, but some not so fun conversations with some really rude people, but
yeah,
that's just part of it.
yeah, and that's understandable. But like I said, you pretty much just have to get walking and knocking on some
Mhm.
doors, and I think come up with a. I think maybe turkey hunting might be a little easier than asking to go. I think when it comes to deer hunting, people get very what I call possessive with that. Even though
Yes,
maybe
very.
maybe the landowner doesn't even hunt, but his brother does, or
Mhm.
so they're saving that land for that guy or that girl.
Yeah.
Where I think turkey hunting is a little different, where that's why I feel sometimes maybe you're better off starting out trying to get access for turkey hunting because God, 20 birds out there. I mean, no one's really going to worry if you take one compared to the
Mhm.
next guy takes one.
Yeah.
Compared to, been seeing a big buck. I don't want to let anybody hunt here because my buddy's,
Yeah.
I promise my buddy's going to hunt here. So I think there's a
Yeah,
little
exactly.
difference where, so like I said, maybe you can get in now where then you can prove to, hey, I'm a respectable hunter. I mean, really appreciated the offer where I think maybe your success of getting into deer hunting come the fall access might be a little more increased if you can start out this time of year knocking on some
Mhm.
doors compared to in the fall. Because that's really the biggest thing I've heard, whether it's been in some of these DNR meetings or not. It's really just, and especially it's this southern part of Michigan. I mean, there's just a lot of areas with that need a lot and that need hunters to come in, but access
Mhm.
just isn't there. And
Yeah.
a lot of corporations, some of these lands, and I don't know what you really can do to change anything with that because it's private property. It's comes down
Yeah.
to the landowner that's going to allow you to do something. But yeah, it's something to work on. But I think, like you were saying though, don't just assume everybody's going to say no. One of these doors you're knock on, you're going to get some access. So keep trying. And like I
Yep.
said, there are some areas you can go online, you can pull up some pages on the DNR website. There are some state land areas across, but you're now, I really haven't, like the southern part, hunted much state land. Have you hunted southern part state land?
I have deer hunted it, and I have this winter I got into rabbit hunting, and I've found some really killer deer hunting spots for
I
rabbit
think I
hunting.
think my what I was going to ask was, I mean, like some of these areas are a little smaller. Is there a lot of hunters on some of these areas, or not really?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah. Especially the closer you are to the Metro Detroit area, like
yeah,
the closer you are, I'll just say Oakland County.
yeah,
When you're in there, the public land is usually hit extremely hard because just
yeah,
the sheer amount of people that are down there, there's a lot more hunters. But that's not saying that there's not good hunting because, like I said, I've gotten into rabbit hunting and I now know of, I'll stick to turkey hunting. I know of a handful of really good flocks with really good birds on public land. So if you, and the thing is down here, you have to commit to public land because you can only hunt that if you get a
right.
tag for it. But if you do, you could definitely get on some really good turkey hunting with some really quality turkeys.
But are but is someone going to have an issue though with maybe there's 10 guys out there, everybody's calling at the same time? Have you? What's going to be the issue with that though?
Um,
Being some of these areas are smaller, because I know it's going to be a concern where all of a sudden you're going to get everybody all the time trying to
yeah,
pull one bird in. So
yeah.
that's a problem, but I mean, I don't know what you're going to do about that, but
With with that, the best thing you really could do is you just have to get there before everyone. and if you know where some turkeys are roosted, if they're close to the road at all, your best bet is to go in and wrap and go behind them because everyone else, not everyone, but most everyone else is going to go towards them from the road and they're going to end up getting pushed to you anyways
Right.
if you take the extra step to wrap around them and get behind where they're going to go.
Yeah, I was talking to Tom Nelson the other day, and he was talking about deer hunting where years ago there was this thing where everybody was just hunting by the road, where now that everybody's got to hunt deeper, got to hunt deeper. He said it's almost switched around now where everybody's going deep now, so sometimes you're better off
Mhm.
by the road. You can get some.
Yeah.
The deer are adapting to the hunters, where before people were hunting close, so they went deep, where now they just adapted around, and turkeys are
Yep.
going to do pretty much the same thing too.
Mhm.
But so yeah, it's interesting, and like you said, you learn something every year. So, Brock, why don't you give me a shout out to wrap this up as far as how can people watch some of your videos? What are your upcoming videos you have planned?
Okay. So my YouTube channel is The Chase. The handle to look it up would be the underscore chase 810. And um upcoming I just have just whatever turkey hunts I can get going. I'll be trying to put together some really cool stories and
Yeah.
really my goal is to really captivate the overall experience of why it's fun and put it in a video. So, my
Um,
favorite part of the experience is when the woods start to wake up and you hear all the birds, not talking about the turkeys, just you hear cardinals and mourning doves and robins and everything wakes up and the sun comes up. It's just a really surreal moment getting to sit there while the
mhm,
woods wakes up
right.
and when you see the sun come up and if you have turkeys in front of you when the sun hits the turkeys you get all the rainbow of colors and their
Yeah.
feathers is really neat, so that's my goal for my videos is to really try to captivate all that this year.
Awesome. Well, I wanted to thank you tonight for joining me. Like I said, if you want to go ahead and well, once we get this posted, we'll you can go ahead and put the link down for people to go ahead and check out your page and some
Okay.
of your videos. And wanted to wish you in your spring turkey hunts some good luck with who you're taking out. Sounds like you're going to be pretty busy and hopefully bagging some gobblers here coming up
Yep.
coming weeks. And I wanted to thank you tonight also for joining me and just kind of having a casual talk between family with turkey hunting.
Yep.
Even though we're family, like I said, we are a little bit different though. I mean, you guys are up in the big woods, northern country, and I'm
Mhm.
down in the city life a little bit, and yet so it kind of talk a little couple different tactics, and even with deer hunting and stuff,
Yeah.
it's always kind of cool to see what you guys are up to and what sharing some information and seeing what everybody's up, and hopefully get a chance to see you guys in coming up here in the coming weeks. I think I'll be up to visit you guys up in for sure July, I believe I'll be up.
Nice.
But I know the next couple of weeks I have quite a few things going on here, and I know I'm gonna get out in the woods tomorrow and get some scouting in and some
Nice.
long overdue, which I should have been doing earlier, but like I said, life gets busy. But a lot of times, so hopefully the rain kind of holds off tomorrow. I can get out and
Yep.
not get too wet. And but yeah, I'm pretty much ready and um been a long winter, and even though we really didn't get much winter, but I'm ready to pick up the gun and get back out in the woods and hopefully get an opportunity and get some
Yep.
Downers come through and put some meat in the freezer. It's always
Yes,
a great
sir.
thing. All right, Brock. Well, thank you very much for joining me tonight, and
Yep. Thank you for
keep,
having me.
keep me posted how you do this fall or the spring, excuse me, and
Yeah.
and this
Will
fall
do.
too. I know this year's flying by already. We're already,
Yeah.
like I said, quarter of the way in. So, all right,
Yep.
Brock. Well, thank you very much, and I will keep in touch and come on back. Maybe
Sweet.
this fall we'll get you back and we'll talk some deer hunting and see how things are going on your side of the town.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
All right, Brock. Thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you.